Behind the Shades.
When you were able to finally have your daughter and she's growing up and you're making it work, as you mentioned, as a single parent, and understanding that life is a little bit more different for you now versus when you probably were married, do you have you seen any differences in how you approach things today versus how you approached it back then?
Yes, very good question. So now I really am trying to be more intentional. So as you mentioned, like your coworker, it took a while, but I really had to weigh kind of the trade-offs and say, what's really worth it. So for me, I have more than one job. So I have at least like three different jobs, a side hustle, a little bit of everything. So there are times where I'd work three different jobs in one day. And it was like this guilt of not spending time with my daughter and wanting to be there. And for her, she just wanted snuggle time and she still wants to just have cuddle parties. And I'm like, I can't because I have to on one laptop, close that laptop, have a little bit of a break, and then hop on the next laptop for the next job. And I said, this isn't life. So I'm in the process of getting rid of that other job and it's going to work out. I have faith that everything's going to work out. And I'm trying to, start my own business. So that's going to help too. But in it, just realizing more of just what are the priorities, what really matters in life. And especially since my daughter's having some more kind of complex and more life altering and long-term health challenges, it really has forced me to reevaluate things and saying, okay, what's really important? And, just in the midst of things happening in schools and just all the way around things happening in the world, just really saying, just living each moment like it's the last. And sometimes it's kind of sad and I don't want to seem depressing in that, but I'm really trying to be intentional. So I'm like, okay, I could pick up some overtime, like for example, working every holiday, Christmas, 4th of July, whatever it is, or I could take, say, what, I'm just going to take my daughter to an indoor playground and we're just going to play for 2 hours, or we're just going to go to the park or just go to Target where she loves to go. And so I'm just trying to be more intentional now than I was before.
How much of a, if I can call it this, how much of like a wake up call was your daughter to you in regards to how you want to structure your life now?
Yes, good question. So, kind of going back to what I was only child and kind of, I feel like in a lot of ways, kind of raised myself. And so having her really open my eyes to a lot of times what's important. Just like if it's chasing after a butterfly, then it's those little things, and it's like before I was just always used to just working even in high school. I'd go to school and after school catch the bus to work. And that was at 16. And that was just my life. Is what I was used to. And then having her in my life, I'm like, it's just been a huge blessing. It's been life changing, but it's really helped me rearrange my priorities. And like I said, what's important, what's maybe not as important, and what's something that's just doesn't matter really at all. And so it's really just helped me to reevaluate, my priorities and really saying, okay, let's just kind of live in the moment. Like, if it's taking a vacation or my daughter wants to stay in a hotel. And I'm like, well, we live right here. So I wouldn't stay in a hotel, but I'm like, okay, maybe we'll just get a hotel for one night because she just loves that environment and it's nice to get away. So it's just like really saying, okay, what can I do to make her life better? And also how can I make it better than my life? I remember kind of my upbringing when I was a kid and just not having a lot due to a variety of reasons. But now saying, okay, we're on a budget. Sometimes things are a struggle. Thankfully, things are getting better. But saying, but what can we do to just have a little bit more fun versus, okay, work, budget. What can we do to just enjoy life versus just kind of going through life and surviving? How can we thrive and actually enjoy life a little bit more?
It reminds me of that saying where someone will say that you have to live your life. And as simple as that is, because we can save, and then when we're gone, we don't have any memories or we haven't left anyone with memories. And that's something that is very important to me because I don't have children myself. So I don't have a legacy that way, or I don't have the memories that way. But if I can build, let's say, memories with you, memories with other people that I've interviewed, or memories with people around me, that is very, very much important. So when you're spending this time, Danielle, with your child and you're making sure that her childhood is different and an improvement maybe on your childhood, how important is that to you?
Yes, good question. I want, like you say, that's a good point you bring up, leaving her a legacy and really wanting her to just have something better. I don't want to leave her a legacy of debt because I feel like that happens a lot of times, just like in my family. And I've seen it sometimes culturally where it's just, okay, they get left with the debt and they get left with, not having a lot and struggling. But I do want to leave her not with just a legacy financially, but a legacy of just friendships and relationships and kind of, I told her, I'm like, she's going to change the world someday. I tell her that all the time. So I want to instill that in her. I want her to grow up and be strong and brave and change lives in a good way and different things. So it's like, I'm really trying to give her what I didn't have. So, and as I mentioned a little bit, homeschooling her, making that difference. And I know that everyone can do it. Some people consider it as a luxury. Some people say it's a need, but this year has just been so great as I've been able to spend time with her, teach her. We're able to kind of learn together and just learn things kind of beyond her years. And if she has a question, I'm like, okay, let's ask Siri or let's ask Alexa and let's Google it and find the answer and learn together. So I feel like I'm trying to give her more, but then still have her be a kid because I feel like I had to grow up really early. So I'm like, okay, you're 5, still just worry about things that 5-year-olds have to think about. Don't think about. She's just funny because she's like, well, Mom, my followers do this, and this is how you get followers, and this is how you watch TikTok. And I'm like, what is a TikTok? And so she knows all these things. Of course, I don't let her, watch TikTok regularly for those that got a little alarmed. I realize she's only 5, but I still want her to be a kid while she can in the midst of a world where you kind of microwave generation, we kind of have to grow up in 30 seconds or less. So yeah, I'm trying, taking it one day at a time.
I'm glad you're able to separate that because I know many parents who feel like they grew up too fast. Sometimes they don't allow their children to have that childhood and to, in essence, be a child. I know I experienced that. Sounds like you experienced that. There's probably many others who grew up so quickly. If you were to ask them, okay, tell me something about your childhood, they would actually have to take a moment and be like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I didn't have the toys. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. You were so responsible that you didn't get the chance to run around in your neighborhood, fall down, bruise your knee, and cry. Right? It was more so, okay, I got to make sure that this gets cleaned, this gets taken out, things of that nature. But one thing I like to mention as well is some of that stuff that you experienced made you who you are today, made you strong, right? And made you a believer in what you can do.